Ahoy,
Ahoy,
everyone.
How's it going, everybody? Happy Friday.
Tricky.
Bricks. That was terrible.
That was perfect.
We should never. So, hope
Hi,
everybody's
everyone.
having a good Friday. So,
I'm going to take this off. I need to draw bangs on if I'm going to wear this.
well, no, I
Just
think
draw
why
them.
not?
All right.
I think it's fine. I think you're fine. I'm wearing this today. I
I'm
don't
looking
care.
forward. I don't have plans yet. It's going to be a while,
It is
but
gonna
I'm
be a
looking
while.
forward to going back to the Disney parks that I enjoy so much.
Look, and I've got a Haunted Mansion Mickey ears on. You got a classic. I also
Classic.
have a set of gold ears from the 50th anniversary, which was really cool. I love that.
And I got them. You know, we both worked for the Disney parks.
It's true.
Once
It's true.
upon a time when we were in high school.
Oh, and I got my Mickey shirt on. I'm like, we are Mickey and Minnie and out today.
It's true.
It's true. And we have an awesome guest today, Joe Meno, who is the editor-in-chief of Brick Journal magazine, which we've been fortunate enough to be in a couple of times.
And we met him at Bricks by the Bay, first time, right?
Yes, and we connected with him over his Mickey and Minnie models that he made that we're going to get to take a look at today. He's a big Disney fan, big Lego fan, obviously.
Artist in many different ways.
Yeah, and just an all-around awesome guy. So we're super happy to have him here today. And he's going to be sharing in with some of our features today. We're also going to be building on the Mickey and Minnie set.
Yeah, I made progress. I'm caught up to Flynn.
Yeah, well,
For the moment.
I discovered you actually got a little further than me because I didn't finish her shoes, and you got shoes done, and you have extra parts.
I don't know where they're from. I have these 3 turquoise things that seem kind of important. I'm not sure where they were from. We'll see.
Anyway, so we've got a lot going on. So first of all, you know, we're not doing a slideshow today because we have a 2-week free build challenge going on, which fortunately for me is overlapping with Brick Huntress's Let's Build a City, and I just found out I have until Sunday night or Monday morning.
Oh,
so I'm really
lucky you.
excited. And I started on. Will you grab my mock?
Yep.
Thanks. So I have a mock that I started, and I'm going to expand on it for hours and do this one for hers. But I'm super excited because I got really super inspired.
Oops. Oh no, I dropped one of the parts.
Uh-oh, that's okay. So this is what I've been working on. And if it looks a little like ridiculous, it's because it opens in the front, and you can see I've started to put some furniture in.
Mirror sticker tile.
I did the floors, and thank you, Cowboy Cornado, for that mirror sticker. So I am super excited about this, and it's actually it's actually based on several places that I've worked over the years. I'll just say that. But I'm not giving away yet like what it's all about.
You have really glamorous jobs, Flynn.
I've had a couple glamorous jobs. It's true. It's true. Not all of them were glamorous, but some of them. But hey, let's
let me just do a quick thing here.
Okay.
I wanted to say for my 2-week build, I am rebuilding the Technic buggy, and I'm turning it into a Moon or Mars rover. It's going to have 6 wheels, but I'm going to take advantage of the great steering in this. Hopefully, I'm going to get it geared down so it doesn't race around.
Very good.
As much. That's what I'm doing.
So yeah, let's see who's here today, shall we? Let's see who's here. We've got Aquamite TV is here, Brickham's Den, Brickworm, Bubs and Lava Bat, Debo Bricks, Fabufan MKE, Glenn Millett. Hey, how's it going? Welcome. Haven't seen you here before. Everybody give a big welcome, a big TrickyBricks welcome. Gary Mullane is here, the Greebling Wizard, Hooded One. I think I saw Darren Siegfried just pop on. Debo, Fabufan MKE, I think I'm repeating things. Hooded One, John Luttrell, Johnny Cat, Lisa Head is here. Hi, Lisa. Send me your address because you have a prize coming to you. Actually, if you want a prize on Sunday, please email me your mailing address. Even if you think I already have it, it'll just be easier for me to have them all in one place. Flynn at TrickyBricks.com. Just saying, we want to make sure you get your prizes.
Okay, I'm going to start off the Emscapades here with Matthew builds bricks,
Minifig Chick, Monica Berry, and I'm going to say Moto because it's the end of the poem. Patrick Wismer is here. Patty Sharon. Hi, Patty. Glad to have you back. Pink Wills 3 is here. Hi, Meredith. Remy Baker, Rob Ketcherside, Rob Zaccardi, and the Zaccardis, Lana, Vanessa, and Elena. And I just found out that Vanessa is a new knoller. She's knolling her parts out now. I'm so proud.
Awesome.
Jake Sadovich is here. Stanford Alligator, another new name. Hi, welcome, and everybody please give a big TrickyBricks welcome to Stanford Alligator and all the new people. And hi to anybody who's watching us on Facebook.
You know, you're never too young to start knolling.
It's true.
I knolled
100%
in my
agree.
playpen. I did.
Smoke Johnny is here. WGJL Builds, Wilfrid, bonsoir, and Zarakino. Kim. Patrick Wismer, I saw just popped in, trying to get everybody as they pop in, but you know. So, you know what happened to me yesterday? I don't know if happening to me. To me is the right word.
What happened?
Well, I picked up a couple of the video beat boxes. I got the mermaid and the unicorn. I was really happy about it.
It happened to other people.
It happened. It did happen. I happened to other people is what happened, and I decided at the last minute to do a Instagram live stream, which I've never I haven't done in like a year, right? And I just decided to do a quick unboxing video. People showed up and hung out. It was super cool. And then we lost 5 followers, but then we gained 7. So it's a win in the end.
The Lego bunny hop.
It was like, you know, it's very funny. Like when you put stuff like that out there, there's always the possibility you're going to lose people, but
that's okay.
So I say let's bring our guest on, everybody. So
let's put our high-tech audio monitoring devices on.
Yes, I feel extremely fortunate to have gotten Joe to come on today. So
well, he's a super busy guy.
He is. So everybody, please welcome to the show, the editor-in-chief of Brick Journal magazine, a great artist and an all-around awesome guy. Please welcome Joe Meno to the stream.
Hey, Joe.
And there we go. Hi, Joe. How's it going?
Doing great. How about you?
We are good. We are good. So you are on the East Coast, I understand.
Mm-hmm. Over in D.C.
Very good. And you've got your BB-8 hat on.
Uh-huh.
Very
right
good.
on.
I'm glad you've joined it.
You hit me off guard with that, but it's
I didn't even know that Small World was on the East Coast.
I know, it's
new.
amazing. It's amazing. And I gotta say, I love the fact that in the picture we're seeing right now, you kind of have more like a BB-8 yarmulke on. Because the ears have kind of faced. No, I love it. It's great. So anyway, welcome to the show. I'm so glad you were able to join us today. We've been building the Mickey and Minnie sets, and when I was like, we should get a guest to be on the show with us to finish building, and the first thing Richard said was like, Joe Meno, you gotta call Joe.
Well, so, when I think of Mickey and Minnie, I think of you immediately. Like you were showing wonderful builds the first year that we met.
Yep.
And I think, do I remember an animation stand?
Oh yeah. Actually, you do. And it's actually, I was going to try and show it, but I don't know if I can hold it.
Well, we don't want anything to break. Not all of our models are switchable.
I don't worry about it breaking. A, it's in my room, so I know where everything is, and B, I built it, and I made a digital model of it. So
goes back together.
And so not only did we meet you when you were the keynote speaker at Bricks by the Bay, which I believe was the year of California Dreamin', if I remember correctly. And we were set up right by you, like catty corner to you by the door. And we just loved your, like, when we weren't, carnival barking our piece, we were like over checking out yours. And because the circle gets tighter, Joe ended up winning a best parts usage award that we built. So the trophy was one
really
that
cool.
we built.
And it survived the trip home.
And it did survive the trip home. Awesome.
Yay.
We did our own alien xenomorph that we did. We just kind of created and used lots of little parts for it. But so that was awesome. So Joe, tell us before. Well, actually, first of all, I
Wait a
know
minute, I
you're.
can't talk about your stuff.
No, you can't talk. Of course you may.
Jeez, man, that's no fair. No, the thing I wanted to just say was just that California Dreaming was the first time I've seen a layout that told a story, which really impressed me to no end, because that to me, I've been in the community for a long freaking time. And there are layouts, there are setups, there are dioramas. The idea of telling a story in a layout is still something that has to catch ground for, to make traction. Usually it's a layout of something being, a display. Here's my thing, this is it, there you go. So I was completely shocked by it. That and the fact that there were so many neat little things going on thanks to the robotics. So for me, it appealed to me on two levels, the tech level and the storytelling level. So, when you guys won, and I ended up getting you guys in the magazine, that was the reason why.
Oh, well, thank you so much.
We really
what you
appreciate
say,
that.
those are two things that matter so much to us. We work really hard on them.
Absolutely. Well, this is so. Of course, so we met Joe, and it was a match made in Disney. We were all so excited, and it helped. I'm sure that we had the Disney castle, like the Disneyland castle, in our build. And
Oh yeah, it had fireworks going.
yeah, we had the fireworks over and everything. So, but let's share some Disney pins. So, Joe, I'm going to let you go first, and why don't you first of all feel free to show your collection. I said, Joe, I'm sure you have a Disney pin to share with. He's like, I've got 2 books of Disney pins.
Yes,
So,
and I'm not gonna. I'll show you some. I'm not gonna show all the pins because that'd be a nutty thing in itself.
that's a whole nother show.
Yeah, and also, what's funny is that I stopped collecting maybe 4 years ago.
Okay.
Mainly because the annoying problem to me was that they all started looking the same.
Okay.
It was one of those things where it's like, if Disney has all these artists and stuff, why do they use the same clip art?
Right.
So, so I ended up cutting back really, really hard. But it's like, I'm trying to figure out, how would I show all these?
I wonder what that means, you cutting back on Disney.
I know, it's like
It goes from like 1 a month when I lived in North Carolina to like 1 a year.
Oh, got it.
Right.
And it's also, I get the pins when I go there.
Okay, very good.
So, but here we go. Oh wait, see, we can't do that.
Yeah, it's phasing out with the
All right,
backdrop.
let's try another approach. Let's just take it on my word. I have 2 books.
Okay,
I
believe you. I
heard
saw
them clicking. It was like going into a DVD, a CD store, click, 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 but it was all pins.
Yeah, well, I mean, I have pages of pins. It's just that the 2 that I actually think are the best is this one right here, which there we go.
There you go.
Got it.
Oh, the old school
Oh,
monorail poster.
that's
Is
awesome.
awesome.
Yes, and what's cool about it is that it opens up. Let's see if I can get that right there.
Oh,
Yay.
nice.
It has Donald, and Donald's my favorite character.
Very good. Good to know. Good to know.
And the second one, and this is the one I pick, was actually
That's great. And what does what does
he
it say?
saying?
oh no, I forgot.
Okay, I need that one because that's like the story of my life. I'm just saying.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that this is appropriate for, and this was actually one of a set of those mystery pins,
Yes.
and
Yep.
this was comic panels.
Oh,
So
okay.
this one there were a whole bunch that I missed out on, but I happened to get this one, and the mini one is "You're Wonderful."
Oh,
So
that's
together,
great.
you're like, oh no, I forgot. You're wonderful. And it's like, no, not quite.
Oh, Minifig Chick says she needs that pin. That
Yeah,
Mickey pin.
it's a good one.
So, well, this is the one I show her. So,
Very good. All right. Well, now we'll do ours.
All right.
What have
You
you
know,
got,
it's
honey?
funny after 200 plus shows, and I've got where is he there? I've got Mickey from Soren. Right
Yeah.
there.
That's great. And
Do you like the
after-
old
after
Soaring or the new Soaring?
I don't know because I think we traded for that in the
Yeah.
park, so I'm not sure if it was old or new. Like it was a.
No. Do you like the older ride or the new ride?
Oh.
Well, I remember when I first rode it, going over the orange fields,
There's
and
mine.
it smelled like oranges. And I don't remember seeing that the second time.
Yeah, you don't remember smelling it? the
Smelling
second
that, I
time?
don't remember smelling oranges.
Maybe.
Or seeing the orange groves of Southern California.
Yeah, well, the orange
Florida.
groves, those were in the first one. The second one, Soaring Around the World, you go to all these world landmarks. So-
Not
Well,
not as fun.
I love the footage, but I had this, with Disney, I had this, like Americana thing going on with all the
Mhm.
landscapes they showed in the first one.
That was fun. Well, and then I just remember riding that and being like, "Oh, the orange smell!" Like that's the one thing everybody remembers from the original ride is like the orange smell. Oh, right, the orange smell.
Well, for me, since I saw it first over in Florida, what was always funny is, how do we end up in California? Because it always ends up over in Disneyland, and
Yeah.
it's like,
Right. Well,
that's
that
a
was
little
the
screwed.
and that was the same thing that when they what was the rocket where like Mission to Mars or one of them.
Oh, where the seats went down?
Yeah, and then when you landed, it was only the one park that they had the footage for, and I can't remember which one it was, but you were always at the one. Like you took off from one and you ended up in the other one. I'm imagining it was Disneyland because I was going in Florida when I was a kid. That was like my main park.
Mhm.
So
I'm laying out some bowls here.
Okay.
I'm going to make some noise in a second,
Yeah.
opening a bag, and then I'll be right back.
okay, so Disney Lego sets. Let's talk a little bit about Disney Lego sets. So I actually don't know, and I apologize. I don't know how long ago they started doing Disney sets. But my first, I know they did the Disney Princess ones, but my first, real awareness of Disney Lego sets was the castle. And I am
Sorry, loudness.
I am a huge fan of that castle. Richard got it for me for my 50th birthday. It was and it was like one of the greatest birthday parties ever. It was just so good. And
I love all the stories in it. You were talking about stories. That castle, all the different rooms.
Yeah, there's something in each of them, and that's what makes a build appealing, both to build and to look at.
right.
In terms of Disney history, there were Disney sets in the I want to say really late 90s, early
Okay.
2000s, and those were they actually had Mickey and Minnie figs in Pluto, and they were Fabuland scale.
I want Fabuland scale Pluto.
I
That
know,
would be
me
awesome.
too.
Well, he was just he didn't pose. He was a one pose dog, and I'm trying to remember. Mickey and Minnie had their arms and legs moved, but they were larger. I have maybe one Mickey set to my name on that. I don't have the castle, mainly because I looked at it and I'm like, that's so cool, but I need two. And it's like, man, that's a lot. So it's like, all right, turn around, let's try that again. It's like,
Wow. We
it's-
should try that next time. Okay, for Ninjago City Gardens, we'd be like, we need two. Oh, we can't afford two, so we can't do it.
No, that's not gonna happen. Just no. So do you have Joe, a particular favorite Disney Lego set that you own, or just in general think is awesome?
I think the castle is pretty good.
Yeah.
I haven't bought it mainly because there are two things that are on my two things that I have as issues right now. One of them is, dang, that's expensive. The other one is, dang, where do I put it?
That's
That's
always
the
the
one
thing,
we
right?
have.
Where are you gonna put it?
Yeah, so it's like you build this great, beautiful thing, and where do you? And it's like once I hit that point, it's like, I need to buy something small.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but
Stop
the,
motion. I think stop motion animation of our house would reveal a number of bookcases changing over from books to Lego over the last 5 years. We still have the
yeah,
books;
yeah,
they're
I'm
just
just
not
like,
right out there.
yeah, now half of me is going, cool. The other half is going, but your books, they're leaving. Oh, it's not. So, but one set I would love to get is the train station.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, Minifig Chicken Paint Pusher have that,
Yep.
and I love the sound effects on the powered up add so
Mhm.
much. Like every time it stops, you get that steam sound, and
Mhm.
there's that whistle.
Oh, and
Monorail.
I'm Bored
Monorail
Toys is
does-
here. How's it going, man? Welcome. Good to see you. Yeah, that train station is one that I really regret like having not gotten. There's a
Mhm.
few sets I regret not having gotten. That's definitely one of them. We had it was when we were on Lego Masters. We went to the Lego store and it was Black Friday weekend, and it was for me it was a toss up because the Disney train was on sale, and it was either that or Ninjago City Docks, which I
Yes.
already had Ninjago City and was a huge fan of.
Ooh, okay.
And it it like arguably took up less room.
Well,
Another factor.
But the
Um,
funny thing is, we didn't have any room because
We had no
so
room.
many of the cast members, we had all gone to the Lego store together a number of times, like to have stuff to build in our hotel rooms, and just because we like sets. So
Yeah.
on the way home, we didn't have any room in our luggage, and we actually had to take Ninjago City
Out of the box.
out of docks,
docks,
right?
yeah.
Out of the box, and just have bags, and we carried a plastic grocery bag with that set in it on the plane.
Yeah.
I actually did that in Chicago. I actually ended up with a set bigger than my suitcase. So it's like, okay.
Yeah,
Problem.
we had several of those. We got rid of several boxes. We even had to get rid of a few boxes at the airport because like I really thought everything was fitting in, and then it just wasn't, and I was like, okay, this is all right. All right, friends, set. You are going into a thing. Boxes getting folded up and put on.
Jeez.
But yeah, if I had to pick, yeah, I really love the castle, and again, that's the castle I grew up with. Like I went to Disney World every year as a kid, every summer. I was fortunate enough to be visiting my dad during that time. We were always, looking for stuff to do, and we lived, a 2-hour drive
Oh, that's not bad at all.
from Disney World. And I'll never forget it. It's one of those things that, as an adult, you just remember all of your life is we would get up because we had to be there. I got this from my dad. We had to be there when the place opened. Like when it opened.
He's that way about the parks now. Stand in
totally
line
am.
and almost run into the park. No, maybe an enthusiastic walk.
I may have
A Disney
run
walk.
through the parking lot, waving my hands over my head in excitement, running to the front gate a couple of times. And it would always be so. It would be dark out when we would leave, and we would pile the kids into the car, and me and my two brothers, and we'd be like sleeping in the car, and then it would be a stop at McDonald's for an egg McMuffin for everybody, and Dad got a coffee. And that was like that's one of my like whenever I go to Disney, I don't do it anymore, but I always like crave an egg McMuffin whenever I go to Disneyland, just because I remember it so much. But yeah, that was that's just one of my favorite memories.
Flynn has either a complete or a near complete set of Disney princesses, Lego Disney princesses.
I do. I love my Disney princesses. I mean, I've been a big fan of the classic, all the classic movies since I was little. They were a big influence on me. Hey, so before we get too much deeper into this, we have a feature that we do that I haven't done yet. And I'm really excited about the one today because it's just so stupid and has nothing to do with Disney. So that's fine. Not everything. So it's called Thing from the Crypt.
Thanks,
All right.
Angela,
Yeah.
for introducing
Yes,
Thing
thank
from the
you.
Crypt.
And actually, I think we're going to go to the build cam, and then we'll be able to see Joe's reaction. Okay, so we collect records, and I've collected records for a long time. And these are two classic disco albums from the 70s. And I'm going to show them to you here. So the first up is Boney M. Night Flight to Venus. This is this was a Euro-Caribbean band put together by a German producer in the 70s, and none of these people sang on the album. So it was completely other. And not surprisingly, this same producer went on to produce Milli Vanilli, another famous lip-syncing group in the 80s. All right? And then...
But it's awesome.
But look at this. So they're on a night flight to Venus, hanging on a rope, because that's a sophisticated...
Silver lame pants.
Silver lame pants. Look at these outfits. This is something, kids, this is something called a gatefold, which a lot of albums in this time had these things. They're called gatefold albums. They had a picture inside.
Glitter-covered swim caps.
Swim caps. And then this may be my favorite. This is them boarding, because I love that their spaceship that they are taking the night flight to Venus on is so sophisticated that they get aboard on a rope ladder. Like a beam. It's not like a beam comes down and like beams them up. No, they climb up the ladder. So
in their Flash Gordon boots.
So
too.
okay, so one of their big famous hits, and they had several, but it was huge. It was called Rasputin, or the way they pronounced it, Rasputin, because they needed to have it be 3 syllables to fit in the song. It was a very famous song. It was huge in Europe. It got big in the U.S. And now I just discovered, going back and doing some research, it has now re-exploded and is viral on TikTok with the kids. So the kids are listening to Boney M and lip syncing to Rasputin on TikTok, and I'm dying from that. I think that's hilarious. So check out Boney M. I know that that Minifig Chick has a clip that she's gonna post the link for. So then, and they were really big in Europe. You know, a lot of these disco albums are really big. This, okay, I don't even know what to say about this. This is Disco Tex and his Sexolettes. And this song that they did called Get Dancin', again, was another, like, huge, weird 70s hit.
These aren't CDs. Those would be 45s.
Those are 45 records. This guy, the guy who was the lead here is Sir Monty Rock III, who is an out gay Puerto Rican-American performer in the 70s, and he used to do the talk show circuit. And this Disco Tex and the Sexolettes review, and the song was called Get Dancin', and it was actually featured in 2 episodes of The Simpsons. One of them was Bart versus Thanksgiving, was the first time I ever heard it, and it was performed by the group, those, what would they call it, those great young people, Up With Everything, and they sang this song called Get Dancin'. So if you get a chance, you should look these up. They were classics and huge, huge, huge in their time.
And
okay?
Is this the one we looked at the video and there's lots of feather boas?
We watched the video of them on Tops of the Pops. There's lots of video, and Sir Monty Rock III is dressed in a costume that I can only describe as Mrs. Howell meets the Joker. And it's really it's really amazing. And I gotta say, I found a clip, and I know that Minifig Chick found it too, of a clip of Soul Train, where all the people are dancing to Disco Tex and the Sexolettes. And the funniest part about it, and I may just be reading into this, but watching a bunch of really amazing black people try to dance to a super white disco album, like the whitest of the white disco, was great, because you could tell they were all kind of like, all right, they're playing the song, so I'm gonna dance to this, and I'm gonna do my best, but man.
Yay, 4-4.
So yeah, definitely, if you ever get a chance, Disco Tex and the Sexolettes, and Boney M. Boney M, Boney M is arguably the better band, in my opinion. And again, both huge, huge hits in the 70s. Oh, and not only, was Sir Monty Rock, one of the women, Cindy Bullens, recently came out as a transgender man and is now Sydney Bullens and is still performing. And some of these people are still performing to this day. So there you go.
With the same swim cap.
A little bit of...
No, wait, swim caps are the other
That's
album.
Boney M, yeah. So yeah, the music is pretty great and great and terrible at the same time. So thank you for humoring me in that thing from the crypt for this week. So you know what it was is my buddy Cy O'Connor, who has his own Lego show, and he posted something on Instagram today with Rasputin as the music in the background. And I was like, oh, Boney M! How did I forget about Boney M? I love Boney M. And it sent me down the rabbit hole of digging through our collection. And I was like, what's a good companion piece to Boney M? I was like, Discotheques and the Sexualettes.
It was a lively morning around the TrickyBricks home.
I may or may not have been dancing around the house to all of that music. I'm just saying. Oh, and by the way, if you have Amazon Prime Music, you can say shuffle songs by Boney M, and you'll hear them all. And a lot of them are really great. Have you, Joe, ever heard of either of these bands?
I might have heard of Boney M. Might.
Yeah, well, you know, I gotta say their songs were quality. I mean, the lyrics for Rasputin alone. And it had like clap machine in it. Rah, rah, Rasputin, lover of the Russian queen. There was a cat that really was gone. Rah, rah, Rasputin, Russia's greatest love machine. It was a shame how he carried on. Yes, he was Russia's greatest love machine, just in case you were wondering.
Okay.
Put that in your history class.
Yes, now
Yes,
I have
yes.
just reached the pinnacle of our YouTube career when I got to sing Boney M on our show. There, that's a thank you, Joe, for allowing that to happen. But anyway, getting back to the subject at hand.
I think I'm making...
After we've scared Joe, he's like, I'm never coming on this show again.
He said, I thought this was a Lego show.
I know, what's going on?
So I think I'm making Mickey's chest now.
Oh, okay.
So,
Actually, I'm thinking of a thing from the crypt for me, but I'm not coming up with anything.
that's all right. That's all right.
Your shirt is not a thing from the crypt, and it's
No,
awesome.
that's an awesome shirt. Didn't I get you that? No, we got Robert that for his birthday, didn't we? Or I pointed somebody to that shirt. I love that shirt. So, Joe, tell us a little bit about your brick journal journey. So, like, how long have you been doing it? Can you tell everybody what it is and all that good stuff?
As I go, you know, for an editor of a magazine, it's surprising he doesn't have any around him. No, it's all in the computer. Brick Journal is a magazine that I've been running for now 15 years.
Wow.
It's old, and it started out basically as an extension of me just taking pictures of Lego events. Way back when, I was the guy running around with the digital camera taking pictures of every single mock. And back then they called me the space paparazzi because I focused on space stuff. And
So you just started as a big fan. Were you building at that point?
I was building a little. I was starting to build. I became I started as an AFOL when I worked over at Disney World, didn't have enough money to earn a living, which isn't that hard to do there, and promptly got another job on top of that over at the Lego store.
Okay, wait a second. What year were you working at Disney World?
98, 99. No,
Oh,
99,
okay.
2000.
All right, that was 10 years after I was there. So,
So what were you doing?
okay, I'm gonna.
You had an awesome
No, I'm
job.
gonna say. I'm just gonna say because this is the thing that you have to say, and it's funny. I've seen some videos where they're like, "Why do these people always say that?" I'll say, Joe, that I was friends with Peter Pan. So that's
Get out!
But that's another talk that we can have another time.
He's not kidding.
So anyway,
Wait.
That's a little known fact. Actually, that may be one of the
this is-
first times I've said that in public, but we don't need to go there. That's another thing for another time. But
Excuse me, I need to step away just for a moment.
absolutely.
Okay, I'll let that go. But wow, that's impressive. And so I'm just like, you're awful tall.
I wasn't in 1987.
Okay, gotcha.
No, Mean Big Chick. People can find out for themselves if they want to know what that means. Anyway, so please continue. Tell us more about your brick journal stuff.
Okay, so I ended up getting into the hobby because I was working at the Lego store over at Disney World. And I actually ended up having to leave after 6 weeks because it was an awful job. I had to work outside.
Ooh.
Those were my shifts, outside. And but I ended up finding eBay and Lugnet at about the same time. So it was a critical mass of me not earning enough money to live, but finding a great hobby.
Right.
So, so from there, for the next couple of years, I just started building, getting sets, things like that. And I became an AFL around 2001. 2002, I went to my first convention, which was BrickFest in DC, not too far away from where I am, George Mason University. And that's when I started meeting the community, taking pictures, because that's all I knew at the time, take pictures. And I had a digital camera. So I became known, since I always showed up with the camera in hand and meeting people. I became the paparazzi. And that just started extending as I got more and more into the community over the next couple of years, to a point where it's like, there's something missing in this community and it needs a magazine. It needs something to record what's going on. And at that point, I'm a graphic designer by trade.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of those things where it's like, this can be done. And I looked into it and it's like, well, somebody tried it, and the year before people bought subscriptions and the guy ran off with the money. So it's like, okay, let's not try this approach.
Yes.
Let's try making it an online magazine for a year and see what happens. So I got some people rounded up and started setting things up, and in 6 months we had issue 1 out, and that came out I think June 2005, and it was digital, and people were surprised and impressed. So Lego actually was surprised and impressed, and so the next 2 years we made digital issues. There were 9 of them, and then during that time Lego's going, you really should make a magazine out of this. And it's like, that's nice and dandy, but well, you really should. Well, okay. No, you really should. Here, we'll give you some money. Why don't you try?
That's awesome.
Really? Oh, really? So by a funny coincidence, a friend of mine who was a publisher, who I showed a copy of the magazine, was like, tell me what you think of this. Do you think it needs proofreading? He takes a look at it and goes, I think it's pretty good, and if you ever want to publish it, contact me. So I had a publisher, somebody was willing to throw money at me, and this was when Lego had their new business group. You put the two together, and Brick Journal was launched in 2007, and we've been running ever since.
That is so fantastic. Well, I got to tell you, so before we met you, there was like a tiny magazine store near our house. And the guy was so sick of me coming in and asking like where the copies of Brick Journal was, like every time. Because I went in and bought one there once, and then like he just, for whatever reason, he's like, oh, we're having trouble getting that one from our distributor. And I would just keep going in and keep going in. And finally it got to the point where I would walk in and he would just see me and go, like, what? And so I ended up going online, and like we used to actively search it out, like in stores and stuff. So it was so cool when we finally got to meet you and see the person behind all that.
Thank you.
That's so.
I hope I didn't disappoint you.
No, not at all. Are you kidding? Not at all. I think that's a fascinating story, because it can be daunting to start something like that, right?
Mhm.
Like I've done, like I've done websites and this show and all that stuff, and it's just it's a lot of work and a lot of love goes into that, right? Like,
Mhm.
because I'm sure there were times when you were just like, ugh, I just can't with this right now, right? Like this is just not. But you keep plugging along and you keep going, and here you
Yep.
are, 15 years later. Um, it's incredible. It's a fantastic
Thank you.
Well,
story.
those deadlines keep coming, don't they?
Yep. I have another one in 2 weeks, so it's like,
Well, it's really beautiful that I feel like because I mean, not to be like a pitch for Brick Journal, but the
You can be a pitch for Brick Journal. It's all
the,
right.
the glossy pages and really well thought out stories. I thought when you did the thing on Snake Queen, you made it this whole like narrative adventure. Like I feel like you added a lot to the story by couching it in the idea that you were going to,
Oh, that was you're talking about California
or
Dreaming.
or no, I'm sorry, with California Dreaming, that you were going to the park, and it was almost like a travel log of the park. I just feel like and you do that for lots and lots of stories every issue.
well, I mean, that's a case of the mock and what's given to me dictating what's happening. Uh, I could just as easily I send a group of questions, a very boilerplate set of questions to people. What I get back is usually what dictates with the story. But with California Dreaming, that is a travelogue. That is, well, actually, it's a California adventure in a really small form, if you
Right.
really put it down to it.
Yeah.
But once I saw that and once I saw the pictures, it just went, boom, I have to do this. And then it becomes a case of me stepping up to the challenge that you guys created. And it's like, I could have just as easily made it a slideshow or whatnot, but it's like, no, this has to be like this. I have to sit down and figure out how to do this. And sometimes that puts me in a pretty bad place because it's like, I want this done this way. And the only way I can do it is to take 3 weeks when I only have a week and a half to do it. And it's like,
Yeah.
well,
Well, you did a stellar job on it. I just remember when it came out, we were both just like, "Oh my god, I can't believe this is a thing!" like our stuff in a magazine, and we've only been doing this for a year at that point, and it was just so thrilling and such an honor. I gotta say, it was great.
I am. If it feels like I'm distracted, I'm just focusing on not missing steps
Yeah, we're
with the model. But I'm listening to every
Yeah,
word.
we're building and chatting. Hence
Yeah,
the name Build and Chat. Oh, but actually, right now, everyone,
Uh-oh.
it's time for a very special guest. Our sponsor, if you will, our mascot.
sponsor?
Our mascot, really. That's right, everybody.
We're sort of his mascot.
Yeah, we are sort of his mascots. That's right, everybody. It's the time of the show when the views go up. It is Logan Cookie Time. Yay, Logan. Oh, he didn't have room. Here we go.
Grogu was
It's
sitting
Logan
on the
Cookie
cookies.
Time. Here, we're going to
Hi,
go.
buddy.
All right, let's go here real quick. There we go. Yay, Logan.
Say hi to everyone. Here we go. And I have been working on the cookie bouncing off the nose, but we've gotten this far. Stay.
He's going to catch this one?
No, stay. No, I can touch it to his nose. That's as close as I get. And he gets to catch the other half. Good boy.
Yay!
It's progress.
Yay, Logan. That's Logan Cookie Time, ladies and gentlemen.
Yay, buddy.
He's going to...
Oh,
There we go.
He was not
There
ready
we
for
go.
Logan Cookie Time
Oh,
to
you know
be
what?
done.
I forgot to mention that Yano River Blue did our backdrop, which is actually a micro recreation of our build room that you usually see in the background of our show. You can see the micro Ninjago City. There's our werewolf clock, our theater, the Lego haunted house. There's Richard's lighting cabinet with the clock, and my ukulele collection. Just really, she did such a great job on it. So awesome.
This
Okay.
is like, do you ever have that experience, maybe late at night you're reading in bed and you find out that you've been reading the same page for a half hour?
Yes.
I've been looking at this same step number 97, part 4. I don't know how long.
Yeah, I'm well. So I gotta say, I wanna pop over to our down camera real quick while we're on this little break, and I wanted to show everybody one of the really awesome things about this set is these shoes. Check out Mickey's shoes. Now, you were saying last night that they were, like epic, like building these shoes.
They were. There's a lot of construction in it. What I like the best. Here,
Who's got a little gap there?
Where's that?
Right here.
Oh yeah, actually,
Here we go.
there was an axle that I couldn't find. There's an axle that goes right up through the middle here, and it was really long. We couldn't find it, so I used a flexi tube instead. We'll see if he stays standing.
And now I'm working on Minnie's shoes, which are also kind of awesome, like her big clunky high heels.
Here, I wanted to show them.
It's really
this.
fun.
Check out this technique here. So on the side of the shoe, right there, you've got this 3 long and a 2 long. Oh, what happened? You just took my pieces.
No.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, sorry.
No, these.
Which ones?
I think.
No, these are ones I just pulled
There
out
we
of my
go.
container.
Okay, so this.
Promise.
Check out what happens here.
Maybe I did.
You take a corner tile and put it on there, and then this little curve there, and then because that tile is because that tile is there, we've got 3 steps of plates here,
That's so cool.
and you can fit this guy. Ooh, I put this
You gotta
one on
show it on the
upside
camera
down.
there.
Sorry. I just, the thing, if you're doing Lego and
you take it apart when you're not supposed to.
you take it apart when you're not. No, and you clip your nails in advance. There we go. And then you can't pull up any plates.
Oh.
So it rounds off the side here, and this 3 long one is just sitting on a piece of a tile. I think all of the 3D molding on this thing is so good.
Yeah, I gotta say, this little bit that I'm doing, these little side pieces for Minnie's shoes are pretty cool, right? We've got the 2 different size of curves, and then we've got these, which I love these pieces. They're those little teeny tiny curves. It's just like one with the angle cut off of it.
And the final thing on his shoe is this new piece that I've never seen before. This is for his heel. It's a little out of focus.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, it's like a 2x4 on the bottom, but it's all curved on the top.
Yeah, so it's got a little. So instead of being completely curved to the bottom, there's a little bit of squareness, right?
Yeah,
On there. That's
which
really cool.
Ends up making his heel back here.
And I made these little side pieces.
There we go.
And they go onto Minnie's shoes like this.
So all that time that I was saying Flynn took my pieces, I'm sure you could see that my pieces were sitting right here the whole time. Right?
I probably did take them. I'm terrible. I'm terrible like that. But okay, back to here. So you've got Joe, another issue of Brick. What's your next issue of Brick Journal? I was looking in the chat, and one of our regulars here, Brickworm, was saying that there's going to be one of the Women's Brick Initiative rainbow quilts that she put together. Amazing stuff. So tell us a little bit about. Can you tell us? No spoilers. What's coming up in the? Is there spoilers?
Okay. Well, that particular issue is the. I dubbed it the diversity issue. Alice Finch took it and ran with it. The Women's Brick Initiative is in there. Gaylug is in there. The quilts that were mentioned are in there. And there's one quilt that was done for Brick Journal that basically, had I known it would show up, I would have put it on the cover.
Oh, very good.
one of the problems I have with Brick Journal is that I have like a 4 to 6 month lead time on covers, so I didn't have the liberty of doing that. However, one of the things I want to push out to them is like they got to make a poster out of those because the quilts are gorgeous.
They
Yeah,
really,
they
really
super
are.
are.
We actually were fortunate enough so we did this backdrop challenge, build challenge, which is where this backdrop came from Yano, and Brickworm put together a quilt with a big rainbow and with lots of little squares that actually had references to things on our show. So if you saw that, like my favorite one, the one that I always point out, if you saw the little animation for the beginning of Thing from the Crypt, there's actually there's one of the squares has a coffin with a little minifigure hand like knocking on the cover of the coffin. I was just like, oh, that's so perfect. This is really cool.
Yeah, I saw the chat. She also asked what my favorite issue was, and I was like, that's a bad question to ask me because I honestly couldn't tell you. There are some issues where I was going, I'm glad it's done.
Yes.
And there are some issues where it's like, oh, can I extend this issue?
Right.
But I mean, in terms of actual favorites, I don't know anymore. They've all become, for lack of a better term, a lot of it's melted together into one big document.
Sure.
So,
well, after 15 years, my goodness. Well, can you?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, how about this? Can you recall maybe one, perhaps, that you had a particularly good time working on? It doesn't have to be like your favorite of all time, but like one that you were like, oh, I really enjoyed doing this particular one, whether it was a feature or a whole magazine or whatever.
Well, if you wanted to do it that way, my, way back when, issue 9, I think, it was the first Disney issue we did.
Okay.
And back then, our relations with the company were really, really strong. Right now, they're because of how the company's expanded. Our relationship has gotten more distant. But back then, it was one of those things where it's like I would just send a couple of emails to the Lego house back then and a couple of other emails, and I would start getting things. And I also had a couple of people who were designers and all that would tell me where to go point things out. So it's like, I'd like to do a Disney issue. Oh, sure. Things start coming. Hey, would you like to see a prototype model of Pluto?
Wow.
Why? Yes, I would. The person who was in charge of the Toy Story theme is like, hey, I got a picture you should put on the cover. Oh, I don't know. He sends it. It's all the little green men lined up, and I was like, oh, that's got to be on the cover. Boom. It was literally a case where if you asked for something, you get something and more.
Right.
And so, it became a really fun issue for that reason, because it's like, I know people don't know about this, and I know that this is, it's not exclusive, but it's something that people don't know. And so it made it really fun. But every issue has something interesting in it. In fact, the current issue right now has got a couple of really neat 2 issues from now, which is 4 months from now. There's going to be an issue on space, and we're doing some things that may be drop dead nuts for me to do.
Oh, how fun. Well, that's exciting. Like, it's always exciting. And I think too, like, because of course, doing a magazine in the age of digital and in the age of everybody, and I know for us, right? Like everybody's always in such a rush to get out like the latest Lego news the minute it comes out, right? And it's always there, happening. Like I can't keep up with it. Like we only broadcast 3 days a week, so trying to keep up with Lego news, and I've just given up trying to be. Well, I never tried in the first place. What am I saying? Given up? I've never tried to be like the first one with the news, because that's not what we're about. But I think it's so cool that you're still going strong, because I love the feel of a magazine in my hand. Like, I like having the physical pages. I like having the, like...
Well, we could send them to our families.
Right, like for the issues that we were featured in, like we bought a bunch of copies and sent it to our families, like in a little plastic bag, and it's a whole thing. I don't think you can't do, like, sure, you can send a link, but it just doesn't it doesn't seem as real to me as when you're like sitting there holding it in your hand and looking at it, or even better yet, you walk into Barnes and Noble and walk over to the magazine rack and it's like there. It's you can't get that. That's something you will never ever get with digital, in my opinion.
Yeah, the one thing right now, Brick Journal actually, we're a dinosaur, plain and simple, because of the fact that we're printed. And so that has created more than a few challenges in terms of trying to get the magazine out and people buying, because we're not designed to be the first anymore.
Right.
And that's the nature of the beast. But right now, the thing that bothers me the most is not necessarily being the first. What bothers me is just that now, with online, the rise of citizen journalism, otherwise known as the gossip machine,
right?
that really has wreaked havoc on everybody, because everybody now is focused more on the first as opposed to what's necessarily accurate. And
well, we stay away from rumors 100%.
Yeah, and yes, I understand what you mean. Like, you hear, I mean, and I think that's like that in so many fandoms, right? Like, you hear about something ahead of time, and you've got people out here giving their review of a movie that hasn't even come out yet. Like, it's not even coming out for another 6 months, and they've already formed all of their opinions, like everything there's going to be about. And personally, like, I think a publication like yours is better because you can actually get you have the time to put together a real in-depth story, not just like, can I pump out the latest press release that Lego is sending out?
Yeah, which is what we do anyways, but that's our version of being first. We get the press releases, but we also have the opportunity to sit back and see what's really going on. In the what I would say in the fast attention span, quick attention span culture that's online, that's something that I stare at and pay attention to a lot.
Right.
And but that said, I'm also one of those AFOLs that, if you ask me, why doesn't Lego do something, X, Y, or Z? My only answer is, well, why don't you? We have the ability to make these things that Lego can't. So we should take advantage of those. And the end result, the fans will always make something better than Lego. The problem is that it's probably going to be more expensive. So that's the real issue that you have to look at. So, but yeah, I mean, I'm very happy now. Now we've gotten more into documenting the community. Yeah, and I think that's actually much more important, because the company has its own publication department. So they're keeping track of their stuff. We should be keeping track of our stuff too. So.
Absolutely. Well, and I think, and that's an important part of it, right? Because you can go and, like, there's places like Brothers Brick and all that stuff, but once again, like, to me, that's also, I mean, and full transparency, I write for them, so like it's fleeting, right? Like, by the time it's Tuesday, everybody's already forgotten about those awesome MOCs that were posted on Monday. And with everybody's attention spans always going to, like, forward, people aren't going to go back and scroll through that stuff. Now, I do, like, a news roundup for Brothers Brick every week, and I compile all the news articles, and I actually think it would be an awesome idea to compile, like, all the MOCs into something so that people who aren't willing to scroll back can go through and look. But with Brick Journal, it's right there. You can open up that issue. You can open up an issue from 10 years ago, 5 years ago, and still have those things right there to enjoy. And I think that's really important. Physical media is important. And you say a dinosaur, and like I understand what you mean by that, but at the same time, I think what you're doing is important, and I think that I don't think that kind of media is ever going to be unimportant, especially when you're talking about like hobby media, like things that don't get a lot of focus in the regular media. So
to adjust my glasses here for a little bit on my nose. When I was a kid, when I was in school, when I was in high school, and when I was in college, there was a thing called the Reader's Guide to Periodical Literature, and it was before the internet was huge, and it was these giant volumes of just magazines, and you could go there and you could find magazines with articles by people you trusted to say things that were thoughtful and researched. And I think we don't see that as much now. It's like, oh, I did some research. You mean you saw a headline and then moved on to another headline? I just think the ability to take the time and read a multi-page article that says it was written by someone whose credits are right there, look, they know what they're talking about, I think is something that's more rare now.
I agree. So, but we have to keep our end of the bargain. So, we keep on going.
Absolutely. Well, I'm glad, I'm grateful that you continue to do so, because it's really a great publication and a great service to the fan community, I think.
Oh, thanks. Now stop. Just stop. Stop.
Well, I'm sitting here not believing that I just mentioned the... What's that?
Talk about the Disney stuff.
Okay, all right. Sorry, I know you.
No, finish your thought, Richard. But just.
Oh, I was just going to say I can't believe I brought up the Reader's Guide to Periodical Literature.
And I'm not surprised
and
at
while
all.
I was doing it, I realized
after 10 years of marriage, I am not surprised that Richard just mentioned the Reader's Guide to Periodical Literature.
What I just realized is that at the very start of Bag 3, when I built this back, I was supposed to also make a front for him. So I'm going back and doing that now.
And what's up with the back of his pants there?
There's I'm going to look at that in a minute.
That doesn't look...
I don't think that's an actual true to form Lego design going on back there. I think I made an error.
Yeah, because it kind of looks like... Never mind, I'm not going to say
like he's wearing pajamas and left the drop seat down.
There you go. That's exactly what I was thinking. So Disney, I'm curious, how many Disney parks have you been
to? California,
okay,
Disney World, and Disney Paris.
Oh,
we want to go to Disney Paris.
You have to.
So we are, we're going to be showing our work at the Lego House in Billund next year.
Yay!
In the Masterpiece Gallery. Yes, we're very excited about that. Thank you. And so we are trying to plan a trip to Disneyland Paris while we're out in Europe. So we're going to definitely that's a definite must do for us. Because I've heard, we were watching the Imagineering show on Disney Plus, which was fantastic. And actually we were watching that while we were on Lego Masters. Like that was our weekend thing to do. Because Disney Plus had just launched while we were on there, and I remember Boone was like freaking out over the Mandalorian, and we would
sit in our hotel room after getting off set and put together Lego sets and watch
Disney
show.
Plus without leaving the bed all day because we were so tired. We just like sit in the hotel room bed, and it was great, and I loved that. And they were talking about how when they were building the Paris one, that Europe has a very long history of castles. And I guess the first design of it was not extremely popular, and they kind of redid it and made it. I think they were saying their goal was to make the most beautiful park that you know, that existed
Well-
in a very artistic sense.
Well, what they said was in Anaheim, when they built a castle, it was brand new and people hadn't locally seen a castle. But when you go to
Yeah.
Paris, you know, in Europe,
It's
people
old
are
hat,
used to
yeah.
seeing castles.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
they had to
yeah.
up their game a
You
little
know,
bit.
castle.
Yeah, the Disneyland Paris castle is absolutely gorgeous. And going inside, the inside has a stained glass gallery on the second floor that tells a story of Sleeping Beauty, and it's just astounding.
Oh, that's cool. So that's like just like a bigger play on the castle in Florida has the mosaics, the Cinderella mosaics inside, which when I was a kid, like, yes, I loved all the rides and all that stuff, but I loved walking them. And when I, you know, especially when I worked there, and you have ample time when you're off work to just walk around and notice the little tiny details that, you know, when you're there as a guest and looking at, you know, like, what ride am I going to go on next? Like, what am I eating next? And you really miss out on a lot of those fine details. And I am a huge fan of those mosaics, and I cannot wait to see the this stained glass thing. I think it sounds awesome.
Yeah, I came in the one day. Well, let's try that again. There's a great story to go along with this.
All right.
So I wrote a book. I wrote a book for No Starch Press, The Cult of Lego.
Oh, yes, we have that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm one of the two writers. Actually, I was more like the proofreader, fact checker. That would be more
An important
accurate,
role. A very important role.
Yeah, mainly because it was one of those things like, how does he know? It's because I was at the convention where you just mentioned where that happened. I was there. I was in that room. I can tell you who was there. So the rights were picked up by a French publisher for the book. So publisher calls me up and says, hey, you want to go would you like to go promote our book over in France? And I'm like going, sure, why not? So
like, what are you gonna say, like, you're gonna say no to that?
Maybe.
yeah, it's
Yes.
like, so off we go. We fly over there, and on one weekend I'm over in a place called Rossheim, France, and I asked them, why do they call it Rossheim, France, when it's not Germany? It's like, because at one time it was Germany. It's like, gotcha, understand. All right.
Yes.
Close to the edge. So, but it turns out that one of the volunteers that worked at the booth was a guy, David, and we just hit it off. We started yakking, and I noticed that he had a Disneyland Paris jacket, and it's like, so where did you get that? Oh, I worked there. And it's like, well, I like that jacket. And he looks at my shirt, and I had a Brick Journal shirt, and he goes, well, I like your shirt. And it's like, well, you want to trade? And it's like, sure.
Yay.
Well, no, it's like, then it's like, I don't have a shirt. And then another guy comes up to me who's one of the vendors, like, hey, you want one of our shirts? It's like, sure. So everything worked out. So I ended up with a Disneyland Paris jacket. He ended up with a Brick Journal shirt. I ended up with another shirt, so everything's okay. And then he goes, so what are you doing? It's like, well, I work over at Disneyland Paris. It's like, okay, that's pretty cool. And I still have my old Disney cast member card.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, cool.
It's like, yeah, I used to work. And he looked at me and said, well, would you want to go? And it's like, sure. It's like, okay, meet me on Thursday, yada, da, 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 da. And he gave me some details. Like, okay. And I ended up going with one of the Lego designers who was also there.
What?
On that Thursday, we went over to Disneyland Paris and we waited at the gate. And it's like, we're just sort of waiting, top of the morning. And the guy comes out, he opens up the gate, and I said, what do you do? He goes, oh, I'm the keymaster. Huh? He's the guy who makes all the keys for the entire park. So during this time, I'm busy chatting with him, and my mind's getting blown. He's saying hi to all these other cast members, including a guy. He introduces me to a guy. He goes, oh, hi, nice to meet you. And I go, it's like, so who's that? Oh, that's the ground operation manager to the park. And so, but the funniest thing is like, okay, I got a gift for you, for me and the designer, who's Pierre Normandin. It's like, got a gift for you. You can't use it in the park, but here. And he gave us name tags. He gave us the Disneyland Paris name tags with our names engraved. And I just looked at that and I was like, I guess that takes care of my souvenir buying because ain't nothing gonna top this.
No, my
Wowzy,
goodness,
wow.
exactly. Like, how do you even? Yeah, that's not something you can shop for.
Yeah, so it's like that would be my favorite pin, but that pin is packed away. So, but yeah, so that and that trip to Paris, Disneyland Paris, was amazing. It's just a beautiful park. If you go into the castle and see the stained glass gallery, pray, pray it rains right before because when it gets misty, it gets inside, and having the
Oh,
sunlight go through the stained glass is amazing.
Wow.
that
So,
sounds incredible. That sounds so
so
cool. Oh my goodness. Well, I can't wait now. Like, I mean, I already couldn't wait, but you're making it irresistible, of course.
yeah, they're supposed to be doing some updates right now too that will make it really cool. So
Oh, doing more update. Well, well, they do such a good job at, like when they do the updates, I have to say, and I'm really glad that we're seeing some more progressive updates from them.
mhm.
Like I'm really excited about the Splash Mountain Tiana,
Yep.
Mhm.
Princess and the Frog thing. I'm really glad that they're redoing the Jungle Cruise because that's needed to happen for a long
Mhm.
time. I think it's gonna, and I'm glad to see them making those changes, and I think they're really great.
Well, there'll be
But
nifty new technology too, right?
right, and also too, I mean, I love that they have like in my case because I love the Haunted Mansion. It's my favorite ride of any
Mhm.
um, theme park in the world anywhere ever. Like
We
it's
went
just
we went
it's
5 times when we went on our
yeah,
on
well,
our
to me, it's just perfect. It's got like stories, it's got
Mhm.
detail, it's got like lots of little, like really, really memorable moments,
Yeah,
and old school technology that still stands up today.
yeah,
Like that ghost technology, the Pepper's Ghost thing.
yeah.
And I won't give away how it's done for any of you who
It
don't know,
looks great.
but it's perfect. Like
Mhm.
it's perfect. And
So
but
why
I,
haven't you built it? Why haven't you tried to build it?
yeah, you tried to build it?
No, no. Well,
Well, why haven't
I have an
we?
idea of how to do the ride vehicles, but I don't know how to do the rest of it because it
Well,
entails size.
don't
Oh
think
yeah,
we
yeah, yeah.
haven't thought about it.
Right, but then somebody did a really great one on Lego Ideas, like a really incredible one of the Florida one, and it was I mean we have ideas, we have ideas coming up. I'll just say that.
Mhm.
But yeah, it is. But anyway, but the point I was making though is even though they do updates, they know when to leave well enough alone.
Yeah.
Like they could easily do those ghosts with projectors if they wanted
Mhm.
to, and like make them have like faces that change and move and talk and all
Mhm.
that. And I'm just so glad that they've let it retain its original flavor.
Mhm.
I just think that's
Well,
really
I mean,
important.
there isn't a reason to change a lot of the stuff. It's just that as time goes on, things have to be updated. The technology, actually, it's cheaper to keep the old. So,
I was gonna say like that's why if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? Like there's
yeah.
no reason to do that. Although I have to say like um some of the updates that I've seen in the Haunted Mansion, like when I went to Florida, they were doing stuff like instead of like let's redo what the how the ghosts are, they're like, hey, let's do something in these areas that are notoriously there's nothing going on in them.
Yeah.
So like like in the Florida one, when you first come out of the load area and you're going up to the first part of the ride, there's a big dark spot. There just
Yeah.
used to be a big dark spot, and there was like a stairway with a super cheesy like rope spider web. Like it was just
Yeah.
not a whole
And they
lot
changed
going
that
on.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they changed it out and put some new stuff in there, including my personal favorite bit was going through and your eyes are adjusting to the dark, and suddenly you start seeing these glowing eyes, and then
Yeah.
slowly the glowing eyes, you realize that it's the eyes from the infamous wallpaper. Like
Hmm.
it's the faces in that wallpaper, and I was like,
They sort of
ah,
morph into from like really being there into 2D, right?
yeah, that's just it's amazing. I just thought that was such a cool little change that they made. A favorite. Okay, here's a hot take. I want your hot take, Joe. And you can feel free to express anything that you like, positive or negative, about what I'm about to say.
I need to step away for another moment.
What is your opinion of the Nightmare Before Christmas version of the Haunted Mansion? Do you like it? Do you not like it? What are your thoughts? Hot takes.
I think
Joe.
it's great.
Yeah,
I think
do.
it's great. Yeah, I got a chance to do it a few years ago, and I was very impressed with how they overlaid everything.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, they came up with a completely different experience with the same elements, and I really loved that. There's really nothing, you know, if they did more of that elsewhere, I wouldn't be too upset.
Right. I mean, now I'll say here's my hot take. I like it. Like I think it's great. I think it's fine. But I am a diehard like original, right? I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying I'm a diehard original Haunted Mansion because I'm like when I was a kid, it was like nonstop. I would just ride it a million times. And when we go for Bricks LA, I always tend because you know we try to go when it's not busy, right? Everybody tries to go when it's not busy, and when you go during the off time, there's always some ride or three that are being maintained, right?
Yeah.
And it just happens that every time I go, Haunted Mansion is either being maintained or is still in Christmas mode. So I get really, I get like homesick for the original.
Saturated.
What would you say?
You're getting saturated with the wrong one.
Yeah, so I just I like to have the original experience, especially things like I'm a huge fan of the stretching portrait room, and I love all of those stretching portraits. And when they change them to the stained glass, the Nightmare Before Christmas, they're cute, like they're haha cute, but they're not the same. Like it's not the girl on the tightrope with the alligator underneath, which is like always my favorite. It's just because she looks so serene, and she's just like I'm standing on a tightrope over a swamp with an alligator and a parasol because why not?
Yeah. Well, I understand, and I agree with you because I don't mind the overlays seasonally. You know, I flat out change. Yeah, I would go. What are you thinking? But something to change the mood every so often, I'm not too terribly upset with. Another example will be Hyperspace Mountain. You know.
Oh wait, tell me about this because I don't know that I know about this. What is Hyperspace
Mountain? It's the Star Wars overlay to Space Mountain.
Oh, we have seen that. We have seen that. Yes.
So I mean that's not a bad thing. It's just the problem with that one is that it happens so fast that you really, you know, the experience is not really there. It's a roller coaster ride with barely an X-wing zipping by you, and okay, you know.
Well, and don't they replace? If I remember correctly, they replace the giant chocolate chip cookie with a Millennium Falcon comes by, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And by the way, if you don't know what I'm talking about, in the in Space Mountain, and I'm sure they've probably improved it by now, but there's this whole thing with like, you know, giant rocks floating in space, and they look, at least in the early days, look for all the world like a close up of a chocolate chip cookie, like just like floating through space. And so when I worked there, everybody would talk about the chocolate chip cookie there.
That's another way of describing it. But yeah, so I don't mind overlays. You know, by that same token, the newer Space Mountain soundtrack I like better than the old.
Okay.
So you know.
Yeah. Now
I
gotta say I'm a fan of the Rock and Roller Coaster at Disney World in Florida.
Oh, that's actually one of the best setup rides out there.
It's really great.
Works. Yeah, it just works.
You know, it's really fun, and it's got great music, right? Like it's one of those just kind of like perfect package things.
Yeah.
And there were I've always really enjoyed it, and the thing about Space Mountain is they used to have music on it at one point that kind of sounded like the Batman '66 theme. It's like I always enjoyed that. I was like, oh, it's like being on the Batman ride. But I really do love, you know, because when I was growing up, I was going to that like all through the '70s. Okay, here we go. I remember sitting at my dad's house in Florida in my little room that I stayed in when I was there on the TV when they announced that Space Mountain was going to be a thing.
Whoa!
Like I remember watching like footage of them building it because when you grow up near or when you spend time near Orlando as a kid, like Disney's in the news all the time, and so you get a lot more sort of and at least at that time it was on the news, and you would always get updates on like what the latest thing was going to be, like what ride improvements they were doing, and like what new things, and so I've actually experienced a lot. Oh, that's great. That's great.
We're getting there, right?
My favorite thing is these
barrels.
The barrels for the
for the legs is just super smart.
I think Space Mountain is probably my third favorite ride after Haunted Mansion and Pirates. I love Space Mountain. We went on. Didn't we go on the People Mover in Florida when they were servicing it?
We did. We went on the People Mover, which is not a thing they have in California. It's in. It's only at
Not
Disney
anymore.
World. And you went, and you would go on, and it would take you through, and you would go through several rides, kind of the way that like the train goes through Splash Mountain at Disneyland.
Oh, and you go through the hotel, don't you?
Yeah, you go through the hotel, and then you go through. No, that's the monorail. But
Okay.
you go. You would go through Space Mountain. Like there was a little section where you would go, and we happened to go when they were servicing it, and all the lights were on inside, and it looked like 2001 in there. It was just like completely white.
It was not white.
Oh wait,
it was gray.
It was completely
the whole
gray.
thing was gray.
But it was still like all one color, and it was kind of crazy seeing it all. But it did look like 2001 a little bit.
Well, they made it gray because they project all those stars on the inside of it.
Right.
But they didn't want you to see all so the tracks, everything was that same color.
Yep. It was really fascinating to see.
That's cool.
Yeah, that was that was kind of like the perfect trip. That was our 10-year wedding anniversary, or 5-year wedding anniversary. We went down and stayed on campus and just had so much fun. It was really a blast. So check it out. I wanted to show real quick. Let's go to the down cam. Let's go to the build cam. Down cam. So I've got I started working on Minnie's hands, and they're really, really well constructed.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, they're really, and I love this little printed bit
because this is a pin, right?
Yeah, it's a pinned
that's
axle, so you can turn these, and already her little thumbs are have a little hinge on them, so they're posable. And of course, you could change the arm position if they're on with axles, but you could
make them like raise their arms. Or...
Yeah. So I was saying before that so not only did I see the beginning of Space Mountain, I was working for Disney World when Epcot launched. So I got to see like the beginning of Epcot,
Wow.
like when they were doing people from my department that I worked in, they were looking for people to like volunteer to go work over at the other park, because at that point everybody was like, when you worked in the Magic Kingdom, that was like, at that point that was the thing. Like Epcot was new and weird, and like nobody wanted to go over there because of course when the department that I worked in, you hung out with everybody when you weren't out in the park, right? Like you had dressing rooms and you hung out, and that going to Epcot meant that you were basically going to be exiled over to like the new place, and you weren't going to be with everyone else. So that was really fascinating. It's funny, I've never really talked about that before, but yeah, I've actually seen a lot of Disney World stuff come about, like happen in front of me, which was
That would
really
be cool. That would be cool to talk about afterwards.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Absolutely. So are you an Epcot fan? Because it is. I know that it's like kids and stuff kind of see it as like the adult stuff. And I'm sorry, like I do love Epcot, but I also understand that it's not for everyone, and it's like a very specific experience.
Well, of the TrickyBricks group here, I'm gonna say maybe Flynn would probably go to Fantasyland before Epcot, and I might go to Epcot first.
Well,
but we
maybe.
will both see all the rides. But I'm a super fan of all the sciencey, nerdy stuff at Epcot.
So I was, of course, I love the Imagination ride because it had that fantasy element to it. But what I was saying was one of my favorite kind of, we were talking about The Simpsons earlier, but I just, there was like one episode where they all, like where the Simpsons went to Orlando and they're like in the plane and Homer's looking out the window and he's like, oh, Epcot, it's even boring flying over it. It's like, I feel you, Homer, I feel you. But I mean, I didn't necessarily think it was boring, but I did see that, you know, that was definitely the sort of, especially back in when I was there, was because there was no, like, they hadn't started trying to integrate any Magic Kingdom stuff over into, like, I think they've seen over the years that they have to integrate, right? Like, so now there's like a Frozen thing at the Norway Pavilion, like a way to get people over to Epcot.
It's not just a class field trip.
Right. Well, and I remember the one of the favorite, like there was the Sea Pavilion, and because I worked there, I could get a discount at the restaurant. So I was fortunate enough to be able to eat at the restaurant. Yeah, with the giant aquarium. It's amazing. Yeah, it was pretty cool, I gotta say.
I've only been there once.
It's a beautiful restaurant.
The I couldn't. Picking a favorite, oh boy. It would have to be Magic Kingdom because of all the old rides.
Yeah.
Well, I like any of
the MGM. I'm one of the old guys that call it MGM.
Oh yeah. So okay, here you go. Here's another hot take, Joe. Hot takes by Joe Meno. What do you think of the Great Movie Ride? One of the more maligned rides in Disney history. What is your opinion on the Great Movie Ride?
My God, it's actually it had a good idea, but man, the follow through is like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
It had some great showpieces.
The Wizard of Oz, the Munchkin Land was one of those, in my opinion. It was really well done.
The Witch, because of the Witch.
Yeah.
The Busby Berkeley.
Yes.
Dance was one of those things that I need to look that up.
Dude, Busby Berkeley is amazing, and I actually have a box set of Busby Berkeley films, like all of his crazy movies. Those are psychedelic to watch. Like, even though they're in black and white, they are just like, whoa, that is some stuff right there.
So there was a lot of potential there. The most interesting thing to me was the end montage. You know, watching the movie clips at the end. I really enjoyed that, but oh my gosh, getting to it, there were some parts where I'm like, okay.
Yeah, and the whole sort of like the real actors thing that they did with it was weird, and
that depended on the cast member.
Well, of course, yeah.
No, if you had one that was really into it, oh my gosh, it'd be great. But if you had one that was like, yeah, another shift.
Yeah, because there's always those, right? Like you can, like, even though they're always really nice and really polite, you know, everybody has a bad day, and sometimes you're like, I just do not want to be doing this today. So I totally,
totally get it. Yeah. So, but outside of Star Tours, the first time I saw Star Tours. Gone. I still miss the old Star Tours show because of the trench run.
Yep, that was a good one. I
love Star Tours.
Star Tours was amazing, and when I was and also like when I was younger too, Captain EO was a thing.
I missed that.
Oh, you've never seen Captain EO?
No.
Oh, I mean, you're not missing a whole lot, but I will say that...
well, they had a 3D movie with Michael Jackson, and they brought the movie out into the audience, right?
Well, yeah, in the 3D, like in the 3D thing. And of course, everybody who's seen the show knows why I loved it so much. Okay, everybody, when I was a kid, everybody's like, oh, Michael Jackson, there's going to be a ride with Michael Jackson. I was like, little gay me, I'm like, a ride with Angelica Houston!
I love you, Flynn.
And Sarah Silverman in the chat is saying Captain EO was so hyped up. It was
Yep,
like
super.
they really like they were super hyping that up. They had those giant glasses that like that was supposed to be a one size fits all. Gosh, it's so weird to think of in the age of COVID, right? That you would just like put these glasses on and then throw them in a bin, and then like some employee would come by with like some Lysol and go over all of them, and then the next person would come and put it on, and wow.
Well, that makes me worried of all the other 3D things that are out now. So
right, well, that's gonna be very different. It's gonna be very very different. I'm sure, and I can't. I'm excited to go back. Like that's one of the things, and we were talking about the other day, was how much we miss going to the parks during this time.
Yeah.
And I know there's going to be like a huge rush to go back, like now that things are open.
There's going to be a huge rush, but you still need to get reservations, and there'll be reduced numbers, so it's going to be a big mess. So,
we don't have to be first in that line.
Yeah.
No.
So I'm looking at that. I'm like, oh my god! I was like, I can't do it.
Oh, look at this! I caught up with you, Flynn.
Awesome. Yeah, so we both now have
with his cool hands, really nicely done hands.
Yeah, and I pointed this out the other day, but I love her little bloomers. It's so it's like it's like a wheel hub with it's that little octagonal piece that has little bars all the way around it, and you can put the clips on it. It's just they did such a brilliant job, and I love these printed pieces as well.
Well, I think the Lego magic they did, all the math involved in putting these angled pieces rigidly into the base rather than just on hinges was super smart. Like it's very complex inside the base. I mean, I don't know, it's only a few pieces, but in the perfect offset to make those angles.
Yeah, these are they just did a beautiful job all around with this.
Hey, can I mention to people a tangentially Lego project you've been working on? It's Disney and it has some Lego in it.
What?
Joe.
Where now?
Well, I've seen pictures recently of these amazing 3D paper cutout models.
Oh gosh.
And that you're using Lego TrickyBricks with LEDs inside the picture frames to light these things at various levels. And I thought it was a great use of Technic beams. And it just shows your like extreme patience. You must change your blades out a lot to do those careful little cutouts.
No, I don't. I use I cheat. I have a cutter now.
Oh, is it a Cricut?
No, it's a Silhouette portrait.
Okay, good. Because I know Cricut's in lots of trouble with their people right now.
Oh, they got out of it. They changed their minds.
They did.
Well, good.
They better have changed their mind. Oh my goodness.
Well, I just think there's so many Lego, AFOLs, mock makers, TFOLs, who are also makers in other ways. Whether it's 3D printing or like crazy paper cutouts, always making things.
Yeah, I did paper cutouts before I got into Lego. And so actually the paper cutouts led me to Lego, and now I'm busy trying to get back to them again. And now with all the tech, the Technic pieces used for the lighting, that happened because I just happened to notice that they fit. And once I noticed that, it's like, well, then I have a grid, which means I can do this, which means, holy smokes. And it's like, okay, get out the, tape strips and whatnot to make all of this happen. And what's interesting is just that it's a matter of adapting your toolbox to what you have laying around.
Well, the rules of competition and composition are all still the same. I just think the Technic beams and TrickyBricks with holes with that 3mm hole just work so perfectly for 3mm LEDs. Yeah,
and what surprises me about that is that Lego hasn't picked up on that.
Well, they may be working on something. We, without going into too much detail, we were interviewed just, as AFOLs, just interviewed by someone from Lego who was interested in our thought on Lego lighting and third-party lighting, and it was very detailed. So
Good.
I know they're doing some stuff.
Good.
So
Because that's one of those things where it's like, the third party people are taking the lead on this.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to see them do it. At the same time, I'm just going, Lego, come on.
Well,
there's an opportunity here.
a point that they made, and I think this is compelling, is that they need something they need swooshable technology, right? They need wires that aren't going to break when you look at them. It's, so they have to make it pretty sturdy. But I can't wait to see what they do.
Yeah.
So Joe, with your paper cutout stuff, I encourage you to check out well, not like it's an internet friend. He is like, it's one of these, it's a total like, it's my friend's brother's boyfriend, so like artist, but his name is Emmanuel Jose, and he does incredible paper cutout stuff. And he started doing, he's done a million amazing things, but he started doing pet portraits, and our friend got Logan done by Emmanuel. So this is all paper cutout. I'm gonna put us on the big screen real quick.
And if you turn it sideways,
you can see that it's all layered.
And
so that
all of that
It's
color isn't printed.
gorgeous.
Every bit of that color is hand-colored pencil.
Hand-colored pencil.
That is absolutely gorgeous.
So what was great is when he got it made, the picture. This is actually the picture from Logan Cookie Time that we use because it's my favorite picture of him with his tongue hanging out. And Emmanuel said to our friend, he was like, "So do you have a photo of him?" Like where he's still, because I can't see what his tail looks like.
It's a blur.
My friend was like, his tail never stops moving, which is absolutely true. So he actually drew it with like the motion, like from the blurry from the photo.
Show it sideways again, Flynn.
Yeah.
Okay, so the tongue does hang out. Okay, I was just like going,
So
that is nifty.
Yeah, his face is in multiple, like in multiple pieces, but
yeah. You're looking at, oh my gosh, that's so many.
All the little fur on his ears is all individually cut out.
So yeah, he did a
That's
great
a lot.
job.
Yeah, that's when you break blades.
Yeah, that's one of my that's one of my favorite pieces of art. Like it's such a great piece.
That's beautiful.
So if you ever get a chance to check him out, he's on Instagram, Emmanuel Jose, and he posts all of his stuff. And he's done like
Minifig Chick posted a link.
Oh, his website, very good.
Cool.
Yeah, so you should he's done some amazing stuff. So anyway, I wanted to say thank you, Joe, so much for joining us today. This has been such great fun.
We've gone a little bit long, but you were fascinating. Really, what fun stories.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you took the time to come hang out with us.
Yeah, and we'll hopefully be able to. We'll have you come on again sometime soon. For another, like, I know that we have something Disney related coming up in the future. So when that happens, we'll do. So can you tell everybody where they can find, like, where can they get Brick Journal? Like, where can they find you if you want to share that? It's up to you.
Okay, well, you can find me on Facebook. Just look up Joe Meno, Meno.
Oh, I've been pronouncing it wrong.
Oh,
I'm so
now
sorry, Joe
we
Meno.
know.
Very good. All right.
I let you get away with it because I pronounce it wrong.
Okay.
The real pronunciation is minnow. But I cannot stand being called a small fish.
I get it.
So, Meno, me, it's Meno. But you can find me on Facebook under Joe Meno. You can find Brick Journal under the same name. If you want to look at what issues, you can go over to the Tomorrows page, and I think there's been a link posted to that already. We have Brick Journal has an Instagram. I have an Instagram. If you want Lego stuff, go to Brick Journal. If you want everything else, go to me.
Very good.
And that pretty much covers it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. What a how.
Thank you. It was a blast.
It was a fun show today.
If people go to your Facebook page, or if people find you, can they see pictures of your MOCs? Do you have some of your stuff built?
Oh yeah,
Because
we didn't get to
we
see.
didn't show
We
them,
forgot to show your MOCs.
and they're
Joe.
really wonderful.
Put some MOCs up to the camera.
I was just like going, wow.
Well, we were building and talking.
We were-
You're a wonderful builder.
Hey, let's take. Hey, everybody, we're gonna take a look at some of Joe's MOCs because he. Sorry, I got to get back to our things here. Sorry about that. You know, we get so involved in talking and listening to stories, and we forget. I'm gonna put you on the big screen. Here you go, Joe. Show us some of your awesome MOCs.
All right, so I'm on this small itty bitty screen there. Okay, so let's just start out with this guy. Where? Oh,
Yeah,
there we go.
they're hard to see with the backdrop on.
Yeah.
There, yeah.
There
if
we
you
go.
go a little further
Yeah,
away,
if
we
you
see
hold
it.
and if you hold it in
Alright.
front of you, we can see it.
Yeah. So this guy here was one of the first ones I built, and he's actually based on a Lego wooden toy.
Very
And,
cool.
and he rolls just like the toy would, and he uses Technic pins and stuff. So, but
He's so sweet.
and he rolls. I just like that he rolls.
Yeah.
And then I actually went over. This is something you guys haven't seen, mainly because he's really delicate.
Is that Sebastian?
That's Sebastian.
That is fantastic. Oh my goodness, Joe, it's so good.
He's also really delicate. You breathe on him and his claws fall off.
So he's not swooshable.
No, he's not. He's a little on the crabby side. But yeah, I actually built him a long time ago, and he actually has been photographed with Ariel.
Oh, right on.
Yep. But
It seems like if you hold the mock in front of you from the perspective of the camera, then it doesn't key it out.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I guess it must be this color.
Yeah.
But here's Mick.
That
Yay!
is.
Can you hold that a little closer?
There.
That is so cute. Oh my goodness.
And
Well,
so-
and I love your interpretation of the eyes on this one with the teeth
Well,
parts.
hey, yeah, that was the giveaway. Once that piece came out, I was like, now this can happen. And you know, he's
Just
as
superposable.
articulated as I could possibly get him. This is one of those cases where Lego, come on, make one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you
And,
turn it a little bit so we see how 3D it is, and hold a little bit down, and the camera will pick it up.
There you go.
There you go.
Sorry about that. So yeah, and
Wow, great modeling. It's hard to build that small, I find. I find limbs, once I take the studs off, limbs get so chunky.
yeah, the limbs. Oh my gosh, the limbs are literally one stud connections across the board, one hinge to hinge to hinge to hinge.
Got it, just to
Yeah.
keep them thin.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where these guys are sturdy, but my initial models I used the hinge plates.
Mm-hmm.
The moment you went off plane from the hinge, the arm would fall off. So it was a real tough thing to work with.
People in the chat are loving your
Yeah,
work.
everybody's loving it, Joe. This is awesome.
Well, here's my favorite. Let's see. There we go.
Oh, that's the brave little tailor Mickey.
Yep.
Oh, with his awesome hat.
So good.
And I had to make sure he has his scissors.
Yes.
And
What did you make those scissors out of Technic hinges?
yes, I did.
Oh, that's so clever.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant.
And
Well,
he can hold the scissors, although it takes a little doing. But yeah, let's see. Like, let's just take the arm off.
I'm sorry to ask, but hold a little closer to your the center line of your body. Yeah, and we can see it.
Okay,
There you go. Oh, he's so good.
there. That's the.
Whoa.
That's fantastic.
Okay, so I'm always curious when I see like really cool constructions like the stuff Tiago does or other designers. How long did those scissors take you?
Probably 2 weeks.
Right? for just that few pieces, but it's got to be the perfect pieces.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It took me, it's like, if I only had this piece, and I would think about it, I was like, wait, there is a piece like that. But if there was only an opposite piece of that, it's like, is there no? I need to go with the brick leak and check. And it's like, sometimes I'm lucky and sometimes I'm not. This one here is a result of waiting.
This is my favorite. This is my favorite one.
There we go.
Whoa. She's wonderful.
She's my favorite. I love her so much.
The proportions are awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but this one, I had to wait for the skirt. The pink, the color of the pink skirt
The dark pink.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like,
Can you turn her more 360?
Wow.
And
Just so
her
good.
her puffy sleeves are so sweet.
Yeah, I love her puffy dress, her puffy sleeves, and I love her little the little bit coming off the top of her hat. Like,
well, that has to be there to sell it.
Yep. Yep.
You know, and that's and she's there. She's got her.
Oh, her hands are really clever too, with the 3-tooth piece for her fingers.
Really great, and I love that they're articulated. Like, the fact that you can move them around makes it extra awesome.
Well, I know from that fairy tale challenge on Lego Masters that articulated figures, especially small ones, are really, really hard.
Yes.
They're hard for me.
Yeah.
They will kill you.
Yes.
I've learned it's like they will absolutely kill you.
Oh, Joe.
Your favorite?
Fantastic.
Yep. I had to do him, but that was.
Oh, look at the lines on his sailor outfit.
Yeah, that was a pain. that took me a good 3 or 4 days of straight hammering on the bricks until I got what I wanted.
Wow, just fantastic. And I love the expressiveness of his face. Like, he's got a great look on his face. Like, he's just perfect.
Oh yeah, and his mouth opens. So.
Of course it does. Oh my goodness, Joe, that's fantastic. Wow.
So, yeah. I have a Darkwing, but he's way too delicate to hold in my hand.
So we have a question about what are the line details made of? Is that like sideways plates or?
Here. There. Yeah, sideways.
Can you hold that closer to the camera?
There.
Wow. That is some careful work there.
So, it's one of those things where it's like, well, if you do it this way, it might work. And it's like, well, the Hope in a Prairie goes in. It's like,
well, so how did you get upside down too? You have like no studs showing there.
A lot of it is a lie.
Smoke and mirrors.
Yeah, it's smoke and mirrors.
Yay, it's great work.
It's Disney magic, if you will.
It's actually the clips. The clips let me get away with a lot.
Wow.
Because I have the clip plates. I can do those in separate directions on the same bar. Once you do that, then you can start faking things.
Wow.
I'm so sorry, but I'm going to have to go because I'm under deadline on a drawing, and that's not an invitation for you to leave. I wanted to say how grateful I am you were here. It's been great to spend time with you. I can't wait till we see one another in person at a convention again.
Yeah, me too. I got to talk more with you about the Technic stuff because I do want to find out how to make it work better.
Yeah, well, I love figuring out Technic puzzles, so maybe we can put our heads together.
Okay, cool, great.
Okay,
thanks.
well, bye, Joe. Bye, everyone. Have a great weekend. I'll see you on Sunday. And I have to leave the show a little early Sunday so I can go and get my vaccine.
Yay!
Yeah.
Okay, bye, everyone. Happy building.
Bye. Bye.
Gosh, Joe, I'm so sorry that we almost missed out on your MOCs. That would have been a crime of epic proportions.
I don't know if it'd be a crime.
Well, I apologize. No, really, because we were so involved in talking, and then it was so great, and then I looked at the time, and I was like, oh, but you know what? We're so casual here. Like, sometimes shows are an hour and 15 minutes. Sometimes they're 2 hours. It just whatever. Like, people just hang out. We hang out and talk. One of the great parts of doing this show, I think, is we get a chance to hang out and talk with people. But I'm just so glad you were able to join us. I'm so glad we got to see your amazing MOCs and talk about Brick Journal. People, please do seek out Joe, seek out Brick Journal, get a subscription, get some back issues so that you can see. There is actually, believe it or not, Treasure the Snake Queen is on the cover of one one issue, and it was thrilling. That happened while we were on Lego Masters. Actually, it was like a 1-2 punch. Yeah, that was that we were at that point we weren't allowed to talk about that we were on the show, so it all happened kind of while we were there filming. So
wow,
that was really cool. So yes, everybody, we will be doing a show on Sunday. Everybody's been asking if we're doing a show on Easter, and we will. And we did a show on Easter last year and actually built a bunch of like the Easter gift with purchase sets. But we will be doing our regular show on Sunday, hanging out with our crew, talking about Lego stuff. We've got. I'm trying to think. If I know, I don't know for sure what we've got coming up soon, but I have been reaching out to a lot of creators, other content creators, and getting them to come on the show and hang out and visit with everyone. And just a reminder that we do have a challenge going on right now, and it is a 2-week free build challenge. All right, you have another week before you have to turn your builds in, and I've been seeing some really cool ones on Instagram, like people posting sneak peeks of their builds and stuff like that. So that'll be really fun. Looking forward to that one. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I need to mention. I think that might cover it. So thank you everybody so much for joining us today. Thank you, Joe, for coming on and being an awesome guest, and it's
it was a lot of fun.
And I always love talking Disney, so like we can have long conversations about that for sure. So everybody, please remember, until we see you on Sunday at 10 a.m., don't forget to stay safe, stay healthy, wash your hands, wear your mask, get that vaccine as soon as you can, and we will see you next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye.